Hello and welcome to Undead Gaming News, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host Zombie, and first up this week is Gamescom. This year it was held in Germany, and the first game that they showed off was a game called Everywhere, which was barely a tease. It's being developed by Build the Rocket Boy. It's an open world, and the whole premise is that you can do everything within this game. They said that you can create your own narratives, which got me thinking that it might be something similar to Dreams, but maybe a bit more expansive considering what was actually shown. Expansive in terms of art styles, I mean. Because within the tease they had what looked like a Fortnite type game, and then near the end it was more photorealistic type style. The only other information they revealed about Everywhere is the fact that it's coming sometime 2023. And then next up we had Dune Awakening, which is being made by Level Infinite and Funcom. There was no release date for that one, but they did say that it was coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and the PC. And you can sign up for the beta on their website. There was no gameplay footage for it, it was just more of a cinematic trailer. So I'm not 100% sure on what type of game that is, but I'll find out when the beta comes around because I have signed up for it. And then next we had some new gameplay from Callisto Protocol, which showed off that enemies can mutate if not defeated fast enough. They start growing tendrils, and then if you don't destroy those tendrils or kill them, they'll then mutate into faster, stronger enemies. And that's on the way for December the 2nd, 2022. And then next was The Lords of the Fallen, which is being developed by Hexworks Studio in association with CI Games. And it's coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam. And as I was watching that trailer, it felt very Soulsborne, and then the title showed up and I realised why, as the Lords of the Fallen is a spiritual successor to Lords of the Fallen. It was originally called Lords of the Fallen 2, but they've changed it to simply be The Lords of the Fallen, which in retrospect might be a bit complicated, because you then have Lords of the Fallen followed by The Lords of the Fallen, so I'm not sure why they decided to change it, but there you go. Next was Moving Out 2, which is coming 2023 to the Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and Steam. And it's been brought to you by SMG, Team 17, and DevM Games. And then we had a new trailer from Hogwarts Legacy, which shows that you can take a path of learning the dark magic, and that's releasing February 10th. Pre-orders are currently available, and it's coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, the Switch, and PC. Then we had a trailer for New Tales from the Borderlands. As previously mentioned, it will feature all new character and storylines. They did mention some of the writers from Tales from the Borderlands in Telltale have been writing for this game as well, just not under the Telltale brand. And that's coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series S and X, the Switch, Steam, and Epic Games Store. And then they showed off Dying Light 2's DLC, Bloody Ties, which will be available October the 13th. And to me it still seemed like an arena game mode, which obviously is not what the fans want. So I'll have to wait and see exactly what it is when it comes out. And hopefully it'll be something better. And then they showed off a series of quick trailers without much information, and those included Tortuga: A Pirate's Tale, with no release date, Marauders, which comes out in October 2022 on Steam, and then you had Destiny 2's DLC, which is called Lightfall, and that's coming on the 28th of February 2023. And then next up they showed Sonic Frontiers, which is coming November 8th, 2022, and it's coming to the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series S and X, the Switch, and Steam. And then next up was Under the Waves, which is coming 2023 sometime on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Steam, and the Epic Games Store. It's been made by Quantic Dream. And then they showed Goat Simulator 3, the first look at the gameplay. That's coming November the 17th, 2022, and it'll be coming to PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and the Epic Games Store. It's worth noting, of course, there was no Goat Simulator 2, it's just a bit of a troll name. Then they showed off Return to Monkey Island, which comes September 19th. Pre-order is currently available, and it's coming to the Switch and PC. Then there was Moonbreaker, which is being developed by Unknown Worlds, previously known for Subnautica. It's a turn-based sci-fi game where you can create your own team and even paint each character model yourself. Early access will be available on September the 29th, 2022 on Steam. And then next was Friends vs. Friends, which is a first-person shooter co-op game with cards where you can battle your friends in arenas. Not too sure what the cards do, I'm assuming they buff you and maybe debuff your enemies, I'm not sure. They didn't specify, but it's coming to PC and consoles whenever it does release. And then next was Lies of P, which is coming 2023, and it's coming to the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and the PC. It's being brought to you by NeoWiz and Round 8 Studio. It's inspired by the story of Pinocchio. It's an action Souls-like game set in a dark world where you have to guide Pinocchio on his journey to become human. It reminded me a lot of Bloodborne in its particular style, but more like Bloodborne than Dark Souls, for example. And then next was Stranded Alien Dawn, which we didn't really get much of a trailer for. It was a little tease, but it's coming early access in October 2022. And it's being brought to you by Hamey Monk Games and Frontier Foundry. And then next was Atlas Fallen, which is coming 2023. It's being brought to you by Focus Entertainment and Focus 13. And that's coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S and PC. And then we had Homeworld 3, which is coming the first half of 2023. And it's being brought to you by Blackbird Interactive. It's a space-based sci-fi RTS, and it'll be coming to Steam and Epic Games. And then we had Honkai Star Rail, which is being made by the same people who made Genshin Impact. And then there was High on Life, which is being made by Squanch Games. And of course, Justin Roiland is involved in that as well. It looked a bit goofy to me, but maybe that's the point, I don't know. And then we had Hard Space Shipbreaker, which is coming September 20th, 2022. And that's being brought to you by Blackbird Interactive and Focus Entertainment. And it will be coming to PS5, Xbox Series S and X. And then there was a new trailer for The Expanse, which is coming summertime in 2023, being made by Telltale. And it's a sci-fi game set on a space station. And then we had Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, coming early 2023, which is a multiplayer horror game coming to Steam, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and the beta access is available to be signed up for currently. And then there is Scars Above, which is coming soon, but no specific release date. It's being brought to you by Prime Matter and Madhead Games, and coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. And then we had Age of Empires 4 DLC, which will be free on October the 25th. And then we had a new trailer for Gotham Knights, which is coming October 21st. And it'll be coming to PS5, Xbox Series S and X, Steam, and the Epic Games Store. And then we had Where Winds Meet, which reminded me a lot of Ghost of Tsushima. We didn't have a release date for that or what platforms it will be released on. And then we had Park Beyond, which will be coming 2023, which is a roller coaster theme park simulator brought to you by Bandai Namco and Limbic Entertainment. And that'll be coming to PS5, Xbox Series S and X. And then we had Dark Tide, which will be coming November 30th, which is a first-person shooter co-op game set in the Warhammer 40k universe. It's 4-player co-op, and it'll be coming to Steam and Windows. And then we had Blacktail, which is apparently coming this winter with no specific release date, so it'll probably be sometime in December, I'm assuming. It's being brought to you by The Parasite and Focus Entertainment's indie series. It's a first-person game that seems to have the option of choosing an evil path and a good path, determining what type of witch you'll become. It definitely looked very interesting to me, so that's on my list, and it'll be coming to PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. And then we had Door for Romantic, which is coming September 29th, which apparently was made by 4 students in Berlin. It was on Steam and it's now coming to Switch. And then we had a trailer for the Outlast Trials, and you can volunteer for the closed beta, which will be held between October the 28th and November the 1st on Steam. And then there was The Finals by Embark Studios. We got a very small tease for it. It should be getting a full reveal sometime in September. And then we had Dead Island 2, finally, confirmed to be releasing February the 3rd, 2023. They showed off 2 trailers. One was a cinematic type trailer that they usually do for Dead Island games, and then there was a gameplay trailer which in Gamescom was censored for some of the brutality in it. But the full trailer is available elsewhere and shows all the gore, including punching a hole straight through one of the zombies' heads, which I thought was fucking amazing. But we didn't see much gameplay, which was my problem. I want to see more, considering it's pretty close now. It's come out of the abyss to give us that. We need more. But they did confirm that there are 6 playable characters, and it will be coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, the Stadia, and Epic Games. I think that's the first game I've seen announced to be coming for the Stadia, to be fair. And then in Gamescom there was also some awards given off throughout the show. The first one was the Most Wanted PC Game Award, which was given to Metal Hellsinger. And then there was the Most Wanted Microsoft Game, which went to The Last Case of Benedict Fox. And then there was the first ever Gamescom Goes Green Award, which went to Yuki. And then the last award that they gave off was the Most Wanted PlayStation Game, which went to Lies of P. And that was everything in Gamescom. We also have Slime Rancher 2 that's been announced to be releasing on September the 22nd, 2022. It will initially release in early access on Steam, Epic Games Store, and Game Preview on the Xbox Series S and X, just like it did with the first Slime Rancher game. I'm assuming it will then later come to PlayStation as well, like the first one did. In other news, Sega has confirmed that the Mega Drive Mini 2 will launch later this year and have over 60 titles, including Streets of Rage 3 and Echo the Dolphin. The Mega Drive Mini 2 will release in Europe on October the 27th, which is the same day that the Genesis Mini 2 releases in North America. The console was first announced back in June, and it will feature ports of classic Mega Drive games alongside previously unreleased titles. The pre-order information about the Mega Mini Drive 2 is yet to be confirmed. However, a Sega representative recently stated that the console's availability in the West will be 1/10 of the Sega Mega Drive Mini 2's run in Japan, simply due to the global semiconductor shortage. In other news, a former developer for Rockstar, Mike Daly, who was one of the founders of DMA Design, which is now called Rockstar North, released a tweet stating, "I see Rockstar are going full fuckers mode again, issuing copyright strikes to any GTA video they can find, including both my prototype videos. So now they're trying to block all release of anyone's work on a game and any old development footage." The prototype video in question showed off the original builds of GTA, which was created in the mid-90s. The development documentation surrounding the creation of GTA is a bit rare, but several of the original developers who worked on the series in the early days have posted behind-the-scenes development videos in recent years. Mike's allegation suggests that Rockstar is currently targeting those videos, though Mike's tweet is the first notable public mention of it. In other news, a game from 2021 called Unnamed Tales made over $500,000 on Kickstarter, and it's essentially a Pokemon-type game but based around cryptocurrency. And now a year later they've decided to update their Steam page with a message which says, "We have to pause the development of Untamed Isles and put the project on hold," which initially sounds like it will be some kind of temporary thing, but until you read further you'll see that they say there have been a myriad of factors that have caused the lead up to this very moment, but what this all comes down to is that we are unable to financially keep up with the demands of what we set out to do. The truth is the cost of development is high and there were a lot of bumps on the way to this moment. Since we started the journey in 2020, the economic landscape has changed dramatically, both generally and specifically for cryptocurrency, and we are not confident in the current market. We ran out of financial resources and we can't carry on the development at this moment. In other words, the crypto market collapsed and left them broke. People have been requesting refunds for the game, but of course they won't be getting those refunds because they don't have the finances to do that, which is very unfortunate. Over on Sony's side of things, they've unveiled a new PS5 controller. It's being called the DualSense Edge wireless controller, and apparently you can make the controller uniquely yours by remapping or deactivating specific buttons and inputs. You can adjust your stick sensitivity, and each trigger is also adjustable with options to tailor travel distance and dead zones to your preference. You can also save multiple different control profiles to the controller, so you can switch between different ones if you want to, presumably for different types of games. You might want different profile sets for those different types of games, or maybe you share the controller with another person and they have a different profile that they would like to use, so you can easily switch between the two. I'm not sure how many you can actually save because it doesn't specify, but you can easily swap between them with the dedicated FN button. There's also changeable stick caps and back buttons, and so you can choose between a standard high dome or low dome stick cap. There's also replaceable stick modules, so you'll have the ability to fully replace each individual stick module on the controller. And of course, it also has all of the same features that the standard DualSense does as well, with the haptic feedback, adaptable triggers and motion controls. In addition, it comes with a USB Type-C braided cable, which uses a connector housing to lock into the controller, so it's much less likely to slip out during play. Not that that's ever happened to me, but there you go. You'll also get a carrying case for your controller, which will obviously keep all your components together. I'm assuming it's like a travel case. And it also allows you to charge the controller via the USB while it's stored in the case, which I think is pretty cool. Sony have also announced that they're going to be increasing the price of the PS5 due to the global economic environment, including high inflation rates. Both models of the PS5 will now have their base price points increased around the world with immediate effect, and that will be reflected at retailers around the world. This means that the PS5 now costs $479.99 in the UK for the base model, while the all-digital version retails for $389.99. PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan says, "While this price increase is a necessity given the current global economic environment and its impact on the SIE business, our top priority continues to be improving the PS5 supply situation, so that as many players as possible can experience everything that PS5 offers and what's still to come." The PlayStation blog post that this was announced in notes that there won't be any price increase for the PS5 in the US, but doesn't mention why. Which, if you're blaming the price increase on inflation, then how does the US avoid that exactly? Because they're definitely dealing with high inflation rates too. So that doesn't make any sense to me. But PlayStation are also going to be facing a new lawsuit, which has been launched by Alex Neil. She alleges that PlayStation has been overcharging gamers for 6 years. PlayStation charges a flat 30% fee to developers who want to sell their games on the store, which often results in the price of digital content being higher than a physical copy of the same title, despite the associated costs of actually making and shipping hardware. Alex has filed a claim which uses a British right to collective redress for consumer harms on behalf of anyone in the UK who's purchased digital games or add-on content on the store since the 19th of August 2016. It seeks damages between £67 and £562 per individual member, which could take the total sum paid out up to £5 billion, if successful. So if you're in the UK and have purchased something from the PlayStation Store since the 19th of August in 2016, then you could be entitled to some of that money if the case is won. Alex says, "The game is up for PlayStation. With this legal action, I am standing up for the millions of UK people who have been unwittingly overcharged. We believe Sony has abused its position and ripped off its customers. Gaming is now the biggest entertainment industry in the UK, ahead of TV, video and music, and many vulnerable people rely on gaming for community and connection. The actions of Sony are costing millions of people who can't afford it, particularly when we're running in the midst of a cost of living crisis and the consumer purse is being squeezed like never before." Natasha Pearman, who is leading the case, said, "Sony dominates the digital distribution of PlayStation games and in-game content. It has deployed an anti-competitive strategy which has resulted in excessive prices to customers that are all out of proportion to the costs of Sony providing its services. The claim is only possible because of the opt-out collective that was introduced by the Consumer Rights Act 2015, a regime which Alex fought to introduce. We're looking forward to working with Alex and making sure the regime achieves its aims of protecting and compensating consumers." The case is being backed by Woodsford, which is an investment business that provides funding for legal cases in exchange for a cut of the proceeds. The company's chief executive said it is dedicated to holding a big business to account when corporate wrongdoing causes loss to consumers and other stakeholders. There's been no response from PlayStation's side at the time of recording. But in other news, apparently Death Stranding's Game Pass release didn't involve Sony. Despite Sony owning the intellectual property of Death Stranding, the company was not involved in the licensing deal with Microsoft for its PC Game Pass service. In Sony's statement, a spokesperson outlined the company's relationship with the deal, stating that matters relating to the PC release of Death Stranding are managed by Kojima Productions and 505 Games. Sony has no involvement in the promotion. The version of Death Stranding that came to PC Game Pass is not the Director's Cut, which was released on PC in March of this year. The service is only receiving the base game, which was first released on PC in 2020. Also in the news, we have a new report that suggests that the highly anticipated Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake has shifted development from its primary studio to the former support developer. An anonymous source has said that the project has moved away from the core developer Aspyr Media in favour of the support studio Saber Interactive. Embracer Group owns both of the developers and announced back in May that Saber was going to be supporting Aspyr on the project, adding that they've basically had to remake the game from scratch. Which begs the question, why that's happened, if that's happened, and what Aspyr will be doing next instead. Over on Ubisoft's side of things, they've had to shut down some rumours regarding a Blade game. They took to Twitter to dispel the rumours circulating around them being involved in making a Blade game, saying, "Sorry to slice up the rumours, we're not making a Blade game, but we can't wait to see what our friends at Marvel are cooking up for next year's movie." Meanwhile, over on Final Fantasy XIV, as part of the 6.2 patch notes, Square Enix is offering a reward for those who return accidental housing deposit refunds in the game, following a housing crisis in the game. Essentially what happened was houses were auctioned off to players, and if you won, then the amount you put down gets taken, and you get the house. And anyone else who put their money down and lost would get their money back. But due to a bug, some people who won also got their money back when they weren't supposed to, and people who lost didn't get their money back when they should have done. That's now been fixed, and for anyone who returns money that they shouldn't have, they'll receive a reward from Square Enix. Players may speak with the housing lottery clerk in Imperium to voluntarily return their deposit. The amount returned will be compensated in exchange of an item. Over on Steam, both Project Cars 1 and 2 are going to be removed from the platform in the coming months due to the expiration of various licenses. A message was posted to Twitter to announce the delistings, which said, due to expiring car and track licenses, both Project Cars and Project Cars 2 will be delisted from sale in the coming months. The games remain fully playable, and our players will still be able to enjoy all the game's features, including multiplayer. We will remove Project Cars from sale on October the 3rd and Project Cars 2 on September the 21st. We remain focused on making the best sim racing titles, and as mentioned previously, we will look forward to sharing more on the next Slightly Mad project when the time is right. So while those games will be removed from the platform, if you already own them, you'll still be able to play them, but if you don't own them, you won't be able to buy them once they have been removed, obviously. If you are interested in playing those games, you should get them before they disappear. I think the first one's currently on sale as well, so you can get it cheaper, but the second one I think is still on retail price. In other news, back in January, the servers of the Dark Souls series on PC were taken down due to a weakness in the servers that left them exposed to hackers, and now they're finally on their way to being restored, as Dark Souls 3 is back online. In a tweet from a From Software developer, they said, "Sorry to have kept you waiting for so long, please accept our humble appreciation for those still waiting as we work to restore servers for the other games in the series." I know it's been a long time, but I'm glad to see that they're actually able to get at least one of the game servers back online, which bodes well for the other two as well, hopefully in the near future. Over at Petroglyph Games, they're working on a new RTS called the Great War Western Front, which features both real-time action and turn-based decision-making across the most pivotal point of the First World War. The Great War Western Front puts players in charge of either the Allied nations or the Central Powers. The game promises both highly detailed depictions of real-time trench warfare and broader turn-based strategic gameplay. As theatre commander, allocating resources and fortifying positions across the Western Front and determining the direction of technological research ranging from poison gas to powerful tanks. Battles will take place in a living, persistent world with existing battlefields, holding the scars of previous battles and deteriorating as players revisit them, while changing weather conditions will also provide additional challenges for each unit. It's expected to release on Steam and the Epic Games Store sometime in 2023. It sounds very interesting to me, as a fan of RTS games in general. And finally this week we have the Hogwarts Legacy Collector's Edition, which has been officially unveiled, although it does come with a big price tag of $300. Within this edition you'll be getting everything that's included in the game's Deluxe Edition, which offers an exclusive mount, some magical robes, and 72 hours of early access to the game. But within the Collector's Edition you'll also be getting a floating wand that goes above a bookcase for you to display wherever you like. That will be your collector's item. You'll also be getting a steelbook case, and if you're on PC you won't be getting a physical copy of the game in that case, you'll only get a download code for the game instead. However, if you're ordering a console copy, you will get the game on disc, rather than a download code. But that does it for this week. If you have any thoughts on anything discussed, please leave it in the comment section below as always, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.